All right, today is Friday, so I want to give you some hype. I want to build you up. I want to give you the best pre shift that you can walk into today with, and you can have this mindset that you are running stuff, that you're going to keep things going. So, here's my message to you: running a kitchen isn't for the fragile. It's not about Instagrammable plates or pristine tasting menus. It's a grind, it's a test, it's a war zone with burners. And if you're not mentally built for it, this industry is going to chew you up and it'll spit you out without a second thought. People always ask, what does it take to lead in business? Now, here's the answer: a hell of a lot more than talent. You need grit, you need grace, you need the toughness to show up when everything's on fire, and the humility to keep learning even when you think you've arrived. Now, that's the thing. I've been inspired by classical Michelin chefs my whole career, and not for the yelling, but for the standard, the fire, the relentless to be better, to push for better, the demand for excellence, not apologizing because you shouldn't either. And then there's this other side of the chef who's reminding us that the voice inside your head who's telling you to quit is lying, that discomfort is part of the process, that suffering, when channeled, turns into strength. Now, if you put those two mindsets together, culinary precision with unbreakable mental toughness, you've got something powerful. That's the edge. That's the mindset that separates leaders from line cooks. Because here's the truth: there will be nights when everything falls apart, when your dishwasher calls out, when your walk-in dies, when the power flickers, when your best cook walks off the job mid-service, and you don't get to panic. You don't get to tap out. You get to step up. You pivot. You adapt. That's leadership. You find a way to keep moving. You don't make excuses. You make solutions, because that's grit. But grit without grace, that's just aggression. Grace is how you lead people through the fire without burning them in the process. It's how you hold the standard without crushing the soul. It's how you turn a cook into a leader by showing them the path, not just barking the orders. Leadership in the kitchen is about holding tension between pressure and patience, between speed and precision, between chaos and control. And yeah, it's exhausting, but it's also what builds greatness. So no, this isn't about being hard for the sake of being hard. It's about being grounded, disciplined, clear, relentless in your purpose, and rooted in something bigger than your ego. That's what separates a boss from a leader. That's what earns respect. And that's what builds kitchens and careers that will actually last. Remember, it all starts in your mind. Beyond the burner, you have to understand the true role of a kitchen leader. Because let's be clear, if you think your job as a chef starts and ends with cooking, you're already behind. Because this isn't just about food. This is about people. And if you don't know how to lead people, manage energy, and hold space in chaos, you're not a chef. You're just someone who cooks. Being a kitchen leader means wearing a dozen hats before you even touch a knife. You're part therapist, part coach, part traffic controller, and sometimes you're just the one who takes out the trash. When nobody else will, you're that guy. You're that lady. You're not managing dishes. You're managing humans, real people with egos, moods, burnouts, sometimes full-blown meltdowns, because the souffle collapsed. And then it collapsed again. You're the one who breaks up fights over the last clean towel. You're the one calming the server who swears the kitchen is sabotaging their section. You're the one finding the words to get your team back on track when everyone's running on fumes and nothing's going right. And even when you want to throw in the towel yourself, you don't, because they're watching you, always. Your influence doesn't stop at the pass. It starts way before that. You set the tone. You build the culture. You protect the standard. You are the first line of defense against mediocrity. And don't get it twisted. Your team feels it. If you show up like mind scattered, short-tempered, checked out, they're going to follow your lead. But if you're calm, focused, and locked in, they're going to rise with you. You're just there to call tickets. No, you're not. You're there to lead with clarity, with consistency, with purpose. That means giving your crew the structure to succeed, the feedback to grow, and the confidence to keep pushing when the heat turns up. And the little things, they matter more than you think. That one soggy fry, that one missed garnish, that one undercooked potato, and suddenly the guest doesn't care about the rest of the meal. Because the details are in the difference, and you're the one who has to keep everyone dialed in enough to sweat those details every single night. This isn't about perfection. It's about pride, ownership, standards. If your kitchen doesn't feel like a place where people are challenged, supported, and inspired, then you're not leading. You're just surviving. And that's not enough. So take a step back from the burner. I want you to look around. Who are you bringing with you? What are you really building? Because the best chefs don't just make food. They make people better. And that's the legacy that lasts. That's the real work. Y'all have a good Friday. Peace.